May I please have your attention? Meeting is now being recorded. Mayor Pro Tem.
Good evening and welcome to the Monday, June 26, 2023, 6 p.m. regular joint meeting of the Bell Garden City Council and Successor Agency to Community Development Commission. The meeting will now come to order at 6:17. Members of the public may view and listen to the meeting live online through the city's website as noted on the agenda. If any of the members should have a conflict of interest, please announce any item you are recusing from due to a conflict of interest prior to the item being heard. Tonight's invocation will be given by Pastor Rolando Leal.
Madam Mayor Pro Tem, and our councilmen, our councilwomen, our manager, our chief, and all the staff that makes the city great, and all the citizens that are here. Sheesh, I've never seen so many people here. Bueno. You want me to continue speaking or?
Let's wait for the translation for 1 second.
Okay, want me to restart or? ¿Sí me escuchan? Creo que ahí estamos bien. Saludamos a la mayor, a todos los concejales, a nuestro chief, a todos los empleados de esta ciudad, y nunca había visto tanta gente aquí y los felicito por encontrarse aquí. Eso quiere decir que les interesa nuestra ciudad. Yeah. So, thank you. Let us pray. Vamos orando. Let us pray and remember that when we pray, we come into the presence of God. And let us pray. The Bible says to draw near to Him and He will draw near to us. La Biblia dice que cuando nos acercamos a Él, Él se acerca a nosotros. So les invito que se unan conmigo en esta oración para que Dios guíe a nuestros líderes. Father, we come before you. We want to just thank you for the great opportunity that you give us to come together, Father. I proclaim your name, I proclaim your blessing and your guidance upon our leaders. Father, in times like these, we need your guidance. May you be with them. May your grace and your, Father, power and your presence be upon this meeting, Father. Just be with us. We ask this in the precious name of Jesus. And can we say amen? Thank you.
Thank you. Can I now have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Chief Fairfield? City Clerk, please call roll of the members of the City Council and Successor Agency.
Yes, thank you. Members of the council and Successor Agency, Barcena. Councilmember Chavez.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Vice Chair Sanchez.
Present.
And Councilmember Pulido and is absent at the moment, but Mayor Chair Cortez will be excused today unless there are any objections.
Thank you.
For all those who have the headsets, please make sure if you want to hear the translation in Spanish, si lo quiere oír en español, por favor, usa el canal número 1.
We're gonna go ahead and take a 5 to 10 minute recess to make sure that we have the translation so that everybody can hear the full meeting. Thank you.
Su atención, por favor, si no pueden oír a alguien que está hablando ahorita, por favor, venga acá frente para ver si le podemos ayudar. She is doing a test. Y no me pueden oír. O si pueden- She's announcing it. Do you mind grabbing Brenda real quick? Yeah. Mayor Pro Tem Sanchez and council members, just want to inform you that we were able to resolve the audio issues. Todos que quieren oírlo en español también puede ir arriba. Lo vamos a cambiar para que todo el oído va a ser todo en español. Arriba, sí.
Okay, we are now going to resume the meeting. We will now move to the presentations. City Manager, please introduce the presentations.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I'd like to announce the proclamation that declares the month of July as Parks Make Life Better Month. In recognition of the month, we have some of our staff members here from the Rec and Community Services Department. With that, I will turn it over to Councilmember Barcena to read the proclamation.
Yes, thank you, City Manager. So I have here a beautiful proclamation for the Recreation and Community Services. And as some of you may know, I actually work pretty much all my life in recreation and community services. So it's an honor for me to be able to present this. And I'm going to go ahead and read it. A proclamation in honor of Parks Make Life Better. Whereas Parks and Recreation promotes physical, emotional, and mental health throughout organized and self-directed fitness, play, and activities. Whereas Parks and Recreation supports the economic vitality of communities by partnering with local businesses and nonprofits and offering events for residents to engage in. Whereas Parks and Recreation creates memorable experiences through youth sports and enrichment activities, teen centers and programs, senior activity centers, adult fitness and enrichment programs, free community events, and beyond. Whereas Parks and Recreation fosters social cohesiveness in communities by celebrating diversity, providing spaces to come together peacefully, modeling compassion, promoting social equity, connecting social networks, and ensuring all people have access to its benefits. Parks and Recreation supports human development and endless learning opportunities that foster social, intellectual, physical, and emotional growth in people of all ages and abilities. Parks and Recreation strengthens community identity by providing facilities and services that reflect and celebrate community character, heritage, culture, history, aesthetics, and landscape. Parks and Recreation facilities community problem and issue resolution by providing safe spaces to come together peacefully and serving as key points of service, helping our communities heal both physically and emotionally. Parks and Recreation supports safe, vibrant, attractive, progressive communities that make life better through positive alternatives offered in the recreational opportunities. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Alejandra Cortez, our mayor of the city of Bell Gardens, with the city council, here do proclaim the month of July as Parks Make Life Better Month in Bell Gardens, and recognize the importance of access to local parks, trails, open space, and facilities for the health, wellness, development, inspiration, and safety of all Californians. Proclaimed this 26th day of June, 2023 by our mayor, Alejandra Cortez, and the entire council. So let's give a round of applause to our Recreation and Community Services Department that's here today.
Do you have any comments before we invite the Parks and Rec staff to come up? Okay, I invite you guys to come up, please, to accept the certificate.
Everyone, come up, come on around, we gotta go. Are you gonna take it this one? Fill in all that empty space in there. Fill it all in. Fill it all in. Hey, Maria, you should be in the front, girl. Tall people in the back. Tall people in the back. Fill it up. Fill it up. Ready for the sit?
Yeah, we'll just have them exit.
All the way. Squeeze it in, all the way, all the way. And if you can't fit, we'll go this way. We'll go this way. Yeah, that takes you out to the parking lot.
Ready, 1, 2, 3, cheese. One more, here goes, 1, 2. All right.
We're gonna invite Liz Nava up to the mic, please, to direct the rec and staff.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Sanchez and City Council for taking the time to recognize July as Park Makes Life Better Month, but even more so, even more so to recognize the hard work and the talents of this incredible team and also everyone who's not here. You know, when I started here a year and a half ago, this department was still very limited from the pandemic and the causes of COVID-19. And in the short time I've been here, this department has completely transformed. We opened programs back up. We started new programs, and that's all because of the people you see here today. And it's a testament to their hard work and their character and the care that they feel for this community. I am beyond blessed. I think you guys all know how much I really do appreciate and care for you. And thank you so much. You guys are superstars. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Keep it up. Okay. You guys, I think you're good to stay.
Liz, one second.
Some members would like to say something.
Okay.
So we're gonna start with Councilmember Barsina, please.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor Pro Tem. So guys, I just want to say, I am so proud of you because what you're doing with your lives by working here in the Recreation and Community Services is probably what I consider to be the most important thing anyone can do for their community. And I'm very happy that a lot of you are invested in the community and you're invested in your own education and careers to really go out there and make a difference in the world. And I want you to know that I'm here for you guys. I'm here to make sure that you guys are taken care of, but because without you guys, we can't move this community forward. So I'm here for whatever you need, and please keep doing what you're doing. Always keep educating yourselves. Don't let anyone tell you that, no, that's enough, you know, you got to take it easy. No, do the most for your community, do the most for your family, do the most for yourself, do the most for everyone in the city of Bell Gardens, because we really need it. We're a community that is highly underserved. And I'm not talking about, that's just how I feel about it. I'm talking about, these are the numbers. 1/3 of our community is under the poverty line. We have about 1/3 of our community that is obese, and the challenges go on and on, including lack of education and really low scores in education. So we need you guys, and we're very, very proud of you. Good job, and keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Councilmember Chavez.
Real quick, I know everybody's gonna have to turn this way, but real quick, we don't have that many opportunities to talk to all of you directly. But I think from my experience, I've gotten to meet every single one of you. Thank you for your service that you do to our community. You all are the future of our city, right? If you're not in college, you're probably in high school. How many of you started working here while you were in high school as a part-timer, whether you were 16, 15, right? So a lot of y'all began working. This is sometimes maybe your first job. Raise your hand if this was your first job, right? So I just want to thank you for all you do. I mean, I could run through it. You guys do the Fiestas Patrias event. You guys do the July 4th event. You guys do the Memorial and the Veterans Day. You guys have the Community Family Service Center program. You guys run the food program, right? Every third Saturday of the month. You guys provide finance help to our community, whether it's helping us with the credit, helping us trying to get a first-time home loan, you name it. You guys help us, whether it's setting up a table, putting forward the projector, fixing our audio equipment, you name it. Our seniors depend on the services that you provide. How many times our seniors go up to you and ask if you can read them a sheet of paper that they got in the mail and whatnot, right? So I want to say thank you so much for representing us there. The golf course, the STAR program, right, with our kids that are special disabilities. You name it, the summer program, right? For the kids, literally the little tot ones before even kinder and pre-kinder, it's preschool. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for doing what you do. Really appreciate it. Always know that at the end of the day, us as council right here, we can say that we want to do this and do that, and we want to have this celebration, the parade, you name it. But who are the ones setting up the event, right? Who's the one setting up the table, setting up the chair, setting up the banner, right? It's all of you. So again, I just want to thank you for all the work that you do. I appreciate it. Know that we're always here to serve you. Know that you can always reach out to us directly. So I just want to say again, thank you so much. Appreciate y'all.
And I think it's really important to highlight you guys, right? Because you guys are the backbone of everything that happens here in the city of Bell Gardens. I know from personal experience, Parks and Rec was my first job at 16 years old. So I've done everything that you guys have done, you know, and so I hope that you continue to like working here and that you grow in this profession as well. So thank you so much to all of you. And once again, I want to highlight you today.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. You guys are Good to go. Thank you, everyone.
We'll now begin with item number 1 on the agenda. At this time, I will open the public hearing at 6:45. City Manager, will you please introduce this item?
Thanks again, Mayor Pro Tem. This item is consideration of an ordinance for a zoning code amendment regarding residential vehicle parking backup clearance. We have our city planner here, Stephen, to give a presentation and to provide information. And then there'll be time for council to ask questions and make comments afterwards. If you can take it away, Stephen. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Good evening.
Sorry, 1 second. We lost quorum. Just for everyone's information, we're missing a council member, so we lost quorum since we only have 3 council members. We can't proceed unless we have all 3 on the dais. So we're just waiting for quorum to get. Thank you. We can proceed with the meeting.
Sorry about that.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Good evening. Mayor Pro Tem, honorable council members. The agenda item and recommendations before your council are to ensure consistency with the city's guiding documents to regulate compatible development with existing patterns of neighborhoods and the state's legislation to support housing production. During this brief presentation, your council will hear the background that necessitates changes in the ordinance, a summary of proposed language to replace duplicative and ambiguous zoning code provisions with simple language in a functional location, and recommendations for next steps to continue facilitating orderly development of residential properties in Bell Gardens. Currently, a 25-foot vehicle backup clearance is required from any property line, structure, or obstacle to ensure sufficient access to and maneuvering space for required residential parking. Specialized rear yard requirements are provided that allow up to 1/2 of the width of an adjoining alley to a rear property line to be used in the calculation of this required backup clearance when constraints are necessary to make it so. It would be appropriate to remove language that addresses parking from the specialized yard section and consolidate that language into the parking section. Additionally, the use of 1/2 of the width of an alley often encourages parking that encroaches into the public right of way and has the potential to obstruct traffic in an unsafe manner. The Planning Commission on May 17, 2023, adopted a resolution recommending approval of zoning code amendment 2023-024 and adoption of the ordinance amending the Bell Gardens Municipal Code Title IX to make it more user-friendly and comprehensively improved to allow full use of an alley so structures and required parking could be accommodated nearer to the rear property line adjoining public rights of way in the alley. The proposed ordinance would remove parking provisions from the specialized yard section and increase options that qualify as meeting the requirements for residential parking maneuverability. The proposed action would streamline review and simplify the implementation of development standards and required parking. Recommended action today is consistent with the blueprint for development in Bell Gardens by promoting compatible and safe development policies found in the Bell Gardens General Plan circulation and land use elements. During this brief presentation, your council heard the background of ambiguous code location and language that necessitated changes to the ordinance and a summary of proposed language to simplify functionality and accommodate a user-friendly zoning code. Staff recommends finding the proposed ordinance exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, waiving full reading of and introducing ordinance number 933. And I'm available for questions regarding the item. Thank you. This concludes my presentation.
We will now move to council member questions or comments. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments? I'm hearing none. We'll move forward. We will now open public comments for this item. City Clerk, please announce instructions for public participation.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on the public hearing item number 1 only. Please state your name for the record before addressing your comments to the mayor and council members. Each speaker and written comments are limited to 3 minutes. Callers wishing to make a comment may do so at this time by dialing *9 from your phone. When instructed, dial *6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining us through Zoom may request to make a comment by using the raise hand feature on Zoom and select the unmute or microphone icon when instructed. We will begin to hear from the members of the public that are physically present in the council chamber. If you haven't done so, please submit all your public comment cards now for public hearing item number 1. I did not receive any public comment cards or any written communications regarding public hearing item number 1. I do have one person who has their hand virtually raised, but it may be for another item. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute them and find out. One moment. Person with the Zoom ID, Violeta Alvarez. Did you want to provide your comment on public hearing item number 1? Zoom ID, Violeta Alvarez. Please select the microphone icon to unmute yourself. Persona con el nombre en Zoom, Violeta Alvarez, por favor, active el sonido en el aparato en cual está usando Zoom. Okay, that is all the public comments we have or that were provided.
If there is no objection by city council, I will now close the public participation. If there are no further council member questions or comments, I will now close the public hearing at 6:55. May I have a motion to either find the proposed ordinance is exempt from the provision of the California Environment Quality Act to the state guidelines, section 15061, and to waive full reading and introduction ordinance number by 933 by title only, amending title 9 of the Bell Gardens Municipal Code to remove section 9.46.030 and amend section 9.38.070. May,
I'll go ahead and move.
I'll second.
we have a motion by Councilmember Barsina and a second by Councilmember Chavez. City Clerk, please conduct a roll call.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilmember Barsina,
Yes.
Councilmember Chavez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sanchez,
Yes.
motion carries.
We will now move to public participation for items not listed on the agenda. Public participation is now open. City Clerk, please announce the instructions for public participation.
Thank you. We will now move to, the members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on items not listed on the agenda for the City Council and Successor joint agenda. Please state your name for the record before addressing your comments to the members of the City Council and Successor agency. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes, subject to an overall 30-minute period, unless announced otherwise. Callers wishing to make a comment may do so at this time by dialing *9 from your phone, and when instructed, dial *6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining us through the Zoom app may request to make a comment by using the raise hand feature on Zoom and select the unmute or microphone icon when instructed. We will first hear from speakers that are in person. I will provide the comment cards to you.
Bruce A. Crow. Bruce A. Crow.
I saw him walking up.
Can we check if there's any Zoom?
Yes. Zoom ID Violeta Alvarez. Please select the microphone icon to unmute yourself. Persona con el nombre en Zoom, Violeta Alvarez. Por favor, activa el sonido en el aparato en que está usando Zoom. It does not look like they are unmuting themselves to speak. We did receive written communications, and that was provided to the full City Council.
If there's no objection by members of the City Council, Successor Agency, I will now close public participation for non-agenda items. Public participation is now open for agenda items listed on the City Council Successor Agency joint agenda. City Clerk, please announce instructions for public participation.
Thank you. The members of the public will now have an opportunity to speak on items listed on the City Council Successor Agency joint agenda. Please state your name for the record before addressing your comments to the members of the City Council and Successor Agency. Each speaker is limited To speak, as announced, callers wishing to make a comment may do so at this time by dialing *9 on your phone and when instructed, dial *6 to unmute yourself. Individuals joining us through Zoom may request to make a comment by using the raise hand feature and select the unmute or the microphone icon when instructed. We will first begin to hear from those that are physically present in the council chamber.
To be able to properly conduct the meeting, just a reminder to please refrain from clapping, yelling, and any other disruptions during public comments. If we do receive additional comments other than the ones we currently have right now, we may have to limit the minutes. Mario? Mario H. Agenda items only.
City Clerk, may we let the record reflect that the mayor has arrived at 7:01.
Yes, thank you. You may begin your comment.
I was just waiting for the mayor. Hi, good evening, council, mayor. Thank you for having me here tonight. It's ironic that we bring in BG Rec and Parks and honor them tonight after having item number 18, the marijuana online. As Marco said, and Georgelle and Ms. Sanchez, they've done an amazing job to keep this community safe, keep the kids off the street. Just like Marco, the Rec and Parks did a great job with you and having you, pave the way for them. They've done you've done an amazing job. But now we have item number 18 on here. Ms. Sanchez, the other day you said in the meeting that you're a teacher, that you see a lot of things wrong at the schools with illegal drugs. I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. But at that age, they're always going to have that, and for you to now bring it into the city of Bell Gardens, it's heartbreaking. We trust you as a teacher to keep these kids safe. And, you see that the schools, why would we want to have it here in our own city, in our own backyard? I hope you change your mind. You guys kind of poked the bear on this. Look at the people behind you. The people that voted for you, the people that entrusted in you, the people that live in your community, they're not dumb. They're not dumb. They're really smart people. Okay. And you know what? They're here. I hope this tells you that how passionate they are about item 18 and not bringing this into the city. I really hope you just open your ears and really think with your heart. You guys got to school with no marijuana dispensaries. That's what you say. And I'll tell.
In order to continue conducting the meeting, I'm going to ask that you please refrain from clapping, okay? Because it is disruptive.
I'm gonna tell you this. I'm gonna tell you this.
Clear the chambers. We will have to.
Can you pause my time?
If this
Can
continues.
you pause my time? It's not fair to me. So with that said, we had an illegal drug dispensary here. Whether it's illegal or legal, somebody died there in a shooting. It was illegal. They paved the way for, these marijuana dispensaries. What's going to happen when you allow this and we have somebody that dies? Are you going to be there taking the photo op with them like you do every day at the parks? You're not going to show up to the funeral. You're not going to give that family any love. Just remember this, it's up to you to make the difference in our community. Okay? And please don't cut the meeting short today. Thanks.
Oralia Flores. Oralia Flores.
Hello, good evening. My name is Oralia Flores. I just want to, for you to consider a change of heart. Legalization and regulations implemented for drugs does not eliminate the negative consequences attached to them. They negatively affect human health in the youth and adults. They increase the likelihood of violence and insecurity of our communities and society. They aggravate problems with mental illness, those suffering from anxiety, depression, and addiction. How can we improve our society if we continually resort to negative aspects such as drug consumption to profit from them? We are greatly hurting those that are suffering from drug addiction by providing them options that are readily available. We are setting a negative example to our future generations to depend on the afflictions of others, such as drug abuse, to profit from that. We are allowing factors that can increase the incidence of violence and insecurity. Remember the support that was granted to you by people that were hoping for a positive change in Bell Gardens. Use the authority granted to you to set a positive example to others and provide positive consequences, not negative consequences. Drugs are never a positive outcome to anyone. Even if the profits seem beneficial, negative consequences will be costly to everyone. Those exposed to it, those that consume it, and those consenting to approve it. We need to change our mindset if we want a positive change. Following what others are consenting, knowing that it is never positive to support drugs will not bring positive change. Let us not fall into indifference and fall prey to false wealth. We can unite to make a positive change by making positive choices. Allowing cannabis retail is never a positive choice. Please do not approve cannabis retail in Bell Gardens. Thank you.
Por favor, les quiero recordar que no pueden aplaudir, gritar o ser disturbancias durante la junta para que podamos continuar con toda la gente que quiere hablar hoy. Okay? Gracias. So a reminder, please refrain from yelling, clapping, or any disruption so that we can continue on with the meeting and we're able to hear everybody that wants to speak here today. Next, Nabor Rios.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, last time, I'm not here to give you decor, but many of you were speaking when we were talking to you. I think professionally, that's very disrespectful. You look at the people that elected you. You look at them in the eyes and you listen to what they're saying. It's very sad that we have to be here. Speaking among each other when people are speaking to you is not professional. But this is exactly what you did last time. And look at these people, they're upset. And I'm here to speak for them and with them. Taxes were raised in November 2020 from 9.5 to 10.25, equating an additional $2.33 million a year. Where is the money? Instead of making things, why don't you renovate the streets? We have this street right here, Florence, potholes for years. You raise our taxes. Beverly Hills and Downey is 10.0%. You're not serving the people. You raised the water not too long ago, and now you want to bring cannabis to our community? You have enough money, $2.33 million will not be enough to clean the streets. You should be worrying about that. Not worrying about bringing 1 or 2 or 10. Ms. Pro Temp, you said this is your home. Is this how you treat home? These people voted for you. And for you, Marco. And for you, Madam Mayor. They don't know this. They're angry. This is social justice. It is an embarrassment that we have to be here. What about the homeless that we have? What are you doing about it? This morning, you have 4 police officers pulling someone from your own doors. Why don't you take care of that? I have them here every single day. Have I called you? I don't call the police officer because they have enough. But do not make us believe that this is going to be a better thing for us. Don't kid yourselves. And in the last 9 minutes that I have, for heaven's sakes, look at the people when they speak to you. They voted for you. The least you can do is give them respect.
I have to remind you guys once again, in order to get through all the public comments, please refrain from clapping, yelling, okay, or making disturbances. If not, we are going to have to ask everybody to be dismissed from the chambers. Les quiero recordar, por favor, para que podamos seguir a todos, si quieren hablar hoy, por favor, no clapen, no pongan ruido, porque queremos continuar con esta junta. Blanca Achman.
Buenas noches. Good evening to all council men and women. Many of you might know me. I have hosted you in my house. I have voted for you. And now I'm here. I am very embarrassed to be here. And with all due respect, no, I don't want to insult you. And I will not.
Oh, she switched. Okay, but
I want to say this. I'm asking you, each of you, Joel, De Leon, Michael, Cortez, Stephanie. I have to read your name, Marco. But I have to ask you, please, let it be Bell Gardens, the city that stands against drugs. I am a foster mother for 17 years. I have lived for 41 years in Bell Gardens. I know the streets and I know marijuana. I have many kids coming to my home with drugs in their system. Do you know how a kid is when they come with drugs? Have you ever taken care of kids with drugs? I don't think so. I have it in my home. I have teenagers for 8 years. I dedicated from 13 years old until their 21st birthday. And let me tell you, what was the worst battle of my life was marijuana. They call it chocolate because they can get it anywhere. And now you want to bring them to our homes and streets where they can walk from school and smell the marijuana. And I'm asking you not to vote for this. So let us stand and say no to drugs. Let me tell you something. One of the council members here bought a home in Downey. Why she's moving from Downey? Is it not safer? She wants to move her family to where there's no marijuana, no homeless on the street. She wants a better life for the family, but then yet she's living and leaving trash behind. We don't want that. And I trust you guys in God's willing that each of you will change your mind and you all vote yes because you are 5 votes. But look behind me, we're bigger than 5 votes. And I ask you, please consider this. This is not easy for us to be here and just be talking about the cannabis and the money will bring to you guys, but I hope you change your mind.
Ascensión López.
Buenas tardes.
I don't want to spend so much time on reproaching you, but encouraging you to search your consciences and realize that this situation has no benefit to the city. If it's possible, I would like to hear that you have actually paid attention to the concerns that we have here. This is practically like that he who allows something is as guilty as the one who actually does it. We're all involved here and we have to work for the betterment of our society. We trusted that you would make good decisions, and I ask you to please search your conscience over this issue that is truly worrying. I honestly hope that you have a change of heart regarding this proposal coming to the city. That's all. I just want to encourage you to really show concern for the welfare of the city. I am not normally involved in politics, but this has brought me in. This issue has. This is maybe a culture clash. We've already had a culture clash, and this may aggravate the situation. We have families. We want our kids to grow up healthy, not just physically, but spiritually, mentally, so that they can reach their potential, so they can function properly and make decisions for the welfare of everyone. I hope that you all do that. That is why I'm here this afternoon. And I really hope that you examine this situation. First of all, I'd like to tell the council, one thing is trying to focus on this issue and use the name Jennifer Rodriguez to try to discredit this. I am so tired of people saying Jennifer, 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 but here I am. You have not managed to bury me. Here I am. And let me tell you something. When you started with Luis Arias and Mario Beltran, when you started attacking Father Nabor, it's because you were afraid. He's not being political. Let me tell you, he's doing something moral. He is protecting our families. And it is disgraceful that you are attacking him. Be ashamed and have some shame and be respectful. You all are like this with Mario Beltran. One of his lobbyists is here in the back. He's texting you what you should say and how you should say it. Let me tell you why Mario Beltran is so important, is so interested in what's going on here. Because he is going to get $50,000 to $70,000 for every business that opens. He's going to get 10% of every business that opens. Indefinitely, as long as the business is open. These papers show his lawsuit. When you all tried to do the same thing, but they sued the council for corruption, for taking personal money, Coach purses, Louis Vuitton shoes. The other thing, the people who received this pamphlet, look at this. This is a contract that candidates sign with Mario Beltran where they're getting money. They have to sign it. And then when they're on the council, they have to repay him the favor by bringing marijuana to the city. Now, for people who want to know, Mario Beltran helped every one of you except Jorge in your campaigns. And remember, he got $30,000 for it. Good evening. Like you all know, my name is Marta Carrasco. I have lived here since 1972 in Bell Gardens. And this situation has me really concerned. For years and years, the other councils never thought to bring that type of store, that type of business here. It seems to me that you all should reflect, think a little bit about our families. I have grandchildren. I have great grandchildren. And you, when you're older, you have more money, you're going to leave this city and you're going to leave us here, leave the city filthy. This city is going to be called Bell Garbage, Bell Basura, because you people are not going to stay and live here, of course. This newspaper is from Downey, and I commend the council members in Downey because they are 100% stating that they will not have these businesses in their city. This is Downey, and I would ask that you reflect on this, because this city has been very content for years. We've had different councils, but believe me, this embarrasses me that I have volunteered for you, worked for you days and days and days. On election day, that day it was raining. It was really windy. From 9 a.m. till 7:30, I was getting wet to the point where I got pneumonia to get you all into office. And you repay me by turning your back on us? It's a disgrace. Alejandra, think. Such an intelligent girl. I don't know what happened. What changed? My God. You, a teacher, a person, an educated person, educating children. Every October, we go to school for Red Ribbon Week to teach the kids what the red ribbon means. And now you come up with this. This is something I don't understand. And that is the truth. I hope you will change your thinking and not leave the city filthy like this.
Oriano. David Oriana,
Perdón, David Orellana.
last call for David Oriana.
Es la última oportunidad para David Orellana.
Okay, we'll move on with Yolanda Jimenez.
Vamos a Yolanda Jiménez.
Yolanda Jimenez.
Yolanda Jiménez.
Yolanda.
Yolanda Jimenez. Okay, I'm gonna. I will call them after. Thank you. Pedro Perez. Pedro Perez. Last call for Pedro Perez. Raymond Saldivia. Ramon Saldivia. Last call for Ramon Saldivia. Rogelio Rodriguez.
Buenas noches.
I don't think you need my address. You know who I am and where I live. I would be so glad if all these people had all these signs to congratulate you all for something good that you had done. But the truth is, this is a disgrace. You are a teacher. You're a teacher. And teachers are oftentimes almost parents to the kids, but you are a fraud. You don't deserve to be a teacher. You worked in recreation. You were congratulating all of the young people here. If you bring marijuana into the city, you're not going to have young people anymore. You're going to have zombies who just say yes, yes, yes. You're young, but you're wasting your youth in the city where you supposedly live. But I congratulate this person because I commend him because he is the only person who had the conscience to say no, because he knows that he would destroy many families if he voted yes. Not only the kids, the families, the relatives, but for example, the mayor. Here, I just see her typing. What the hell are you doing here if you're going to ignore us the whole time? Why? Why? Here we are talking. You don't even pay attention to us. That's what you did at the last meeting. You were all writing and not giving a damn about us. Like Ms. Carrasco said, we walked for you. I walked for you, Marco, and you promised not to bring marijuana to the city of Bell Gardens. That was the message that I passed along to all the voters. She did the same thing. She promised the same thing. No marijuana. Now, what happened to you? Are you all high on marijuana too? Maybe that's why. Maybe you're potheads. You don't want to, you don't care. You don't listen. You don't look. Are you deaf and blind? Look at all of these people here telling you no, no, no. And you get on the damned horse and just ride away and don't listen. I don't think that's funny. Like I said, you're not going to stay there. Why? Because we are your bosses. We put you in there. You're 5 votes. 5 votes to 30,000. You can go to hell. Sooner or later, you will. Raúl Lomeli.
Raúl Lomeli. Raúl Lomeli.
EOC for them to come down. I think step house.
If I'm calling your name and you are upstairs, please make sure that you make your way down. If you have submitted a public comment card and you're upstairs, please make your way down. So when your name is said, you are here present. Bernard Rodriguez. Bernard Rodriguez.
Bueno, lo que yo les voy.
What I want to say is that you all don't care about families. All you care about is filling your own pockets, nothing else. What, you all don't have families too? You're going to have kids, grandkids. What are you going to say to them? What are you leaving for them? It's a disgrace, honestly, that you don't think about anything but money. What is this for? Just to generate more money for your campaigns to get reelected. That's it, because you don't care about the city of Bell Gardens at all. We've had so many people. We already have a lot of drugs that you're not combating. But you know where drugs are sold here in Bell Gardens. You know where the gangs are. And what do you do? What do you do? Because the city people should know every corner where they're selling drugs, where there's gangs. And what do you do? It's honestly a disgrace. Have some shame if you have any. But this isn't fair. This isn't fair. Where are we going to end up? You'll leave pretty soon with your money that you've made, and you're going to leave the garbage here. And we'll have to deal with our kids, with our grandkids addicted to drugs. That's what you want for us? We don't want that. You don't want it for yourselves. We don't want it for ourselves. It's that simple.
Leticia Serrano.
Buenas tardes.
Good evening. I would just like to know whether you all have children or grandchildren or great-grandchildren, because I do have. I still have a 21-year-old son, and I have 13 grandchildren, and I don't want those stores here. Mainly, I have values, and I have taught my children that that is not good. And if they start seeing stores here, think about it. You're going to have kids if you don't now. And as I say, you'll be leaving here. You'll buy a house somewhere else, and you're going to leave the mess here. We have been living here for 25 years, and we're very happy because it's a clean city and everything. But starting about a year ago, we've seen that taco stands have sprung up. And there now are other cities that are cleaner, Bell, Downey. Aren't you ashamed of that? That's why we were living here, because we thought it was a clean city, straight up, and that you were honest. But no, you need to think that someday you will have children. And I hope you don't end up having one with addiction problems. Thank you.
Buenas tardes.
Good evening. I don't want to reiterate all of the worries and frustrations that everyone has already expressed here. I won't repeat them all because of you bringing marijuana here, but I work 5 blocks from here. And we have about 120 employees. From those 120, there are only 2 from Bell Gardens, because most of the ones who apply come out positive for marijuana. And then they end up on the streets. What after the streets, they get caught up in crime. The fact that you all want to bring those stores here to provide the drugs directly to the employees, you're destroying our youth. And with all due respect, I believe that you should have should have a conscience and don't bring marijuana shops to our city. Thank you. Are you sure?
Arnsel Cortez. Arnsel Cortez. Or Alonso Cortez. It's really difficult to read this name. Cortez. Okay, we'll move on. Carmen Sanchez.
Pasamos al siguiente. Carmen Sánchez.
Carmen Sanchez. Last call for Carmen Sanchez.
Bueno, buenas tardes.
Good evening. My name is Carmen Sanchez. And well, this is like repeating things, but truthfully, I'm a person who's lived here for 30 years. I am not in agreement with what we're all here together for. Thank you so much. That's all.
Alex C. Last call for Alex C. Moving on to Edith Flores. Edith Flores. Last call for Edith Flores. I have one that did not list a name. Phone number ending in 4256. Once again, somebody that did not list a name, but their phone number ends in 4256. I do not want to read their address or their full phone number. So last call for someone with phone number ending in 4256.
Pero número de teléfono que termina en 4256. Última llamada.
No? Okay. This next person did not list their number, their name either. Person did not list their name. Their address starts with 56. I don't want to read the full address, but their address starts with 56. Did not list a name. Okay. Moving on with Cecilia Perez. Celia Perez.
Buenas noches. Pues yo nada más vengo a decirle.
I agree with all of these families so that this thing about the stores doesn't happen here. We, the people, trust you guys so that there would be a better Bell Gardens and not a worse one. My kids have already grown up. They were here. They don't live here anymore. But I have a grandson who worries me that he may fall into things that are not good for him. Just like all of these parents who are here, you should stop this. Be aware and really think about how harmful this will be for this city, all of this. So the only thing that I want is to beg you that you stop this and not go forward with this idea, because the only thing that it brings is dirty money. Money that the only thing it's going to do is harm families. Stop this. That's all I want to say to you.
O Ruben Urias. Roberto Urias o Ruben Urias. Roberto o Ruben Urias. Okay, vamos a continuar con Yolanda Bernal. Yolanda Bernal.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Yolanda Bernal. Como
Good evening. I'm only here to support these people who are here behind me, because we don't want these dispensaries here in this city. Why? I'm suggesting that why instead of putting dispensaries, why don't you focus on all of the indigent people here in the city? That wasn't seen before. If there are indigent people here that are screaming at themselves, dancing, I mean, imagine our kids are going to be doing the same thing. Rethink this. Be aware of that. You have families. We do too. And we don't want them to be harmed. You wouldn't like to have a child on drugs, or would you? Or you don't, the nighttime comes around and you don't even know where they are, if they've woken up or not. That's the favor I'm asking you. Thank you. Patricia. Patricia. Good evening. My name is Patricia Miranda. I am here to beg you, to ask you for the love of God, not to destroy our youth even more, not to destroy our youth, because putting in these stores is going to do that. Please, I'm begging you. Thank you. Well, as you already know, I'm Carmen Jaramillo. I've been living in the city for 35 years. Honestly, I'm very angry because in the first place, the times that I've come, you don't pay attention. You have such disrespect. Believe me, I don't know why we voted for you guys to be in those seats as our workers, because the truth is, you don't even pay attention to us. You don't clean out your ears. You don't clean out your eyes, and you look at the city that you want to destroy.
I want to tell you that we, just like you are willing to go through whatever with these stores, we too are willing to not back down. And all of Bell Gardens is going to unite. And those who didn't come, we're going to make sure we tell the rest to not to wake up and not let you do whatever you want, teacher and you guys, because the truth is you only bring junk to people's minds, and we don't need that. We're going to change you out for others. We're going to send you on vacation. You're stupid. Ese.
Buenas tardes.
Good evening. My name is Juana. I'm here to support my community. I haven't been living here for long, but I also have a young one, and I've gone through a lot of things, and I want to ask each one of you. I congratulate Jorge because he's young and he hasn't accepted. He's quite a good example as a young man, because if it were someone else, then he would have approved it. But I ask you in the name of God to be aware of this, because it's so sad to see young people with addictions. It hurts as a parent, and I'm asking you with my heart. And I've come to support Father Nabor also, because he's also supported us so much. Thank you, Father, for supporting us so much, and because this is your community. And I hope that you listen, because if you don't have kids, you're going to. And we want a clean city. We want tranquility. There isn't that anymore. There's a lot of violence, and I hope that with your heart, and you take God in you have the fear
Crow?
of God as well.
Bruce A. Crow. Last call for Bruce A. Crow. Rosario Luna. Rosario Luna. Buenas noches, señores.
I give you my respect. I congratulate Father Nabor. I don't go to his church, but I think that a threat like what was done to him shouldn't be done to anyone. There are a lot of representatives from the church here with a lot of respect. In all due respect, I'm not offending anyone. We've already taken out a lot of people who were stealing from the city. We've taken out a lot of people from here. Since 86, I've been a resident. I respect you. Jorge, congratulations. Mr. Marcos, I congratulate you because I see you visiting everyone in the community, but I'm not here to insult you. Rather, with all due respect, I hope you respect our people. Don't trample on us, because we're Latinos, but we're not trash. We've lived here since 86. I pay my taxes. This is my house, my street, my city, and it's the home and the street of my kids. And I need security for them, please, safety for them. I beg you, no marijuana stores. And Mr. Mario Beltran, since a long time, he's been here trying to do that. Don't be bought. And investigate this. Well, what is Bell Gardens doing? Because this has come from before. I'm in a white blouse. I'm not supporting anyone. I'm an independent mother. I come from the hospital. My daughter at this time is fighting for her life because she's having a baby and she can't have it. And I've come from there right now. And you guys know who I am. I have kids. I'm a foster mom. I rescue kids who have come and they've been born with drugs in their blood. Please, I ask you, please, Mrs. Alejandra,
I was with you guys and I don't regret having been with you guys. I don't regret having walked because of that, we took out the trash from where you guys are sitting now. And we don't want to do it again, with all due respect. Thank you.
Rosario Figueroa.
Rosario Figueroa.
¿Usted es Rosario? No, ahí viene Rosario. Hasta que le hable.
Sí, buenas tardes.
Good evening. I don't know what the proposal is to bring marijuana to the city. We just don't understand it. We don't want marijuana here in Bell Gardens. Why don't you mute yourself? Why don't you focus more on education for the kids? Clean the city. The position that you guys have sitting there is worth a lot for you, but you have to also prove that to us. You have to explain to us why you want to bring marijuana here. What is the proposal? What do you propose? If you want more money, work harder. Ask more for your salary. I don't know how much you make, and I'm not even interested. You know? If you think that this is worth so much, we'll prove it. And I came from Norwalk in '99. I came to live here because I like the city. But I was living well for a time. But then afterwards, my kids got involved with drugs. You know what my kids do now? They go to get drugs from East LA. If you guys bring drugs here, they're just going to go walking for marijuana. And if you put drugs here, they're going to even be crawling. That's not fair. I'm not saying it just for me, rather for everyone. You know? This guy, you're representing us. It's not fair to bring marijuana here, right around the corner. Or maybe leaving Mass, we'll just buy it right there on Sundays. Or when we leave the council here, we'll just go to the corner and buy it where the liquor store is there, and we'll buy a beer at the same time. It's not fair. Please think about it. You have kids. And right now I'm fighting against this for my kids. You're going to have kids. If you don't have them, you will. If you have, watch out for them and care for them. What do you mean that's it?
Jose Mendez. Jose Mendez.
Jose Mendez.
Buenas noches.
Good evening. My name is Jose Mendez. I'm 73 years old, if you didn't know, and I have a son who's 26 years old. My wife and I have, she has diabetes and everything because of everything that our son has done to us. And he has a mental capacity of maybe less than 10 years old because he fell into this, taking that. And we have to sleep with the fear
the fear of him, because he has even threatened to kill us before because we don't let him do what he wants. And don't you think that at 26 years old, he should be a mature person? That he should have a future? And what did you do? You gave him this crap, and it affected his brain, and he doesn't have the ability to have a future. I have 4 kids. 3 work. They did not fall prey to that. They're entrepreneurs because they have their mind looking forward toward the future. At 73 years old, I have the peace that perhaps many have, to be able to say, I have 2 grandkids, and I don't want them to fall into this crap. I don't want them to go into what you guys are supporting. We don't want that for them. And like they've said, at schools, they give to them. Now they're not going to get it at the schools. They're going to get it on the corner. They're going to go right there to do it. And that's not fair. You guys, as people have said, we put you there to protect the city and the people, to make you see. We've worked really hard, and we've never gone on vacation in all the years. And you want to just grab the money easily to go to Hawaii.
Sebastián Chávez Bravo.
Sebastián Chávez Bravo.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Buenas
My name is
tardes a
Sebastian
todos.
Chavez Bravo. I'm 10 years old and I wanted to speak for the canopies that might be opening up. I feel like it's a bad idea. I've been all my life here in this city. It would be really sad to see the city be destroyed by these canopies because people could change, because they could get addicted. People change into ways that we wish cannot happen. I've been around the city for a while, and it would be sad to see the parks and everything around us to change in a way that we can't control. If this goes a way that we can't, then the city could be destroyed. So with this, I do ask you, please do not have the city go this way, and to not think of the idea to have these canopies. Thank you.
Esteban Figueroa.
Buenas noches.
Good evening. Well, I'm united with this group of people who are desperate to express their feelings, but evidently seems you're listening, but it seems like you already have everything figured out for your convenience. What are we going to do? You can't break up a concrete block with your fist, right? I want to tell you that this weekend I was preparing. I made some calls over on West where people, well, who are well off than us, right? And there are no dispensaries, right? And what's the difference from the servers over there or over here? Or are they maybe more intelligent, or what is happening, right? Because it's not possible. You can't put the cart before the horse. You as a teacher, I don't think you're going to feel very good when you go and you see your students all drugged out after taking a hit, you know that marijuana ruins the brain, and it's a substance that marijuana has. It was scientifically proven that once it goes into your brain, it never comes out. So this whole city's going to be like robots. So look, if you are doing this for money, well, and on other days, it was mentioned that the US has something like $23 trillion. Why don't you ask for some of that to help solve the problems? And instead of causing no future for the kids. I have a grandchild who's going to school here. 3 of my grandkids left here. They moved cities because of all the craziness here. But I have one here who worries me because he's the one that has maybe his grandfather's disposition, because maybe I had a bad experience when I did my first hit of pot. It was a terrible experience. I ended up in jail for 3 years because of a fatal accident that I committed, and I killed someone driving under the influence. Okay. So, what you're doing is really important to me and to all these people. We've already discussed it, but I don't know how long this debate is going to last. But if you already have your plan figured out, well, we're just wasting our time here. I don't think you're going to represent all of Bell Gardens, 44 million people with 5 people. Thank you.
Ana Orozco.
Ana Orozco.
Hello, good evening. I have been a resident of the city of Bell Gardens for about 25 years. I am an educator. I'm also a mother of a child with special needs with multiple health issues, including mental health. My job is to protect, educate, and support children in any possible way by creating a safe learning environment where children may feel safe, secure, trusted, and respected. Members of the City Council, today I'm here to speak on behalf of those children who may be at risk because of your wrong decisions of bringing marijuana near their homes, putting their lives in danger, their health, their future, and their education. My biggest concern is our schools. I'm extremely worried that now, not only we have to worry about children's education, but instead we have to worry about drugs in our schools, gun control, and bullying. It is a fact that people who consume drugs tend to be more aggressive. They have suicidal thoughts, depression, anxiety, mental health problems, mood swings, and low school performance. I am afraid that this will bring more violence to our city, more robbers, more insecurity, and people won't feel safe anymore walking out on the streets. I'm asking you kindly to disregard this wrong idea that this will bring more money to our city, which in fact won't. This will only bring misfortune to us and hurt the most valuable persons in our city, our children. This could be your own children, your family member, your cousin, your niece, or your nephew. Think about what you are doing. Think about the irreparable damage that you are about to do to our city. Money is not worth it because there's no money in the world that will pay for the life of a child. This will be your legacy. This is what you're gonna leave for us. Is it really worth it? Is it necessary? I don't think so. I don't think the city of Bell Gardens is ready for something huge like this. We are not prepared to fight it. I am totally against it, and I don't think anybody in this audience agrees with your decision. Thank you.
Jorge Montoya.
Buenas noches.
Good evening. My name is Jorge Montoya. I can describe myself as development into my knowledge, consistent to know that the last meeting were really rude with you, but you guys were also. I'd like to notify you. I know that this debate is not easy. This debate is very controversial, and you guys are seeing it. Definitely, drugs don't bring any benefits. When I came to the United States more than 35 years ago, I had the pleasure of living in Bell Gardens 11 years. And unfortunately, I lived many, many bad moments. What I want to remind you is what really helped me was church. I come to defend the church because we've had pastors who have really brought a version here that has been erased, and that's morality. There are a lot of homeless people, a lot of people on drugs in the whole city, and that doesn't give a good message for everyone. What I want to say with this is it's not really, it hasn't, some people are trying to insult Father Nabor or other representatives when they should think that on his behalf, he tries to see all of the needs that the community has without anything else except for God's love. You are the representatives from the city who have been elected. You guys should see that the church isn't against you guys. They both work together, but just in different ways. I know that the politics and the church don't go together, but they're both looking out for the community so that there's something clean, just like the man here who represented all of the youth in Bell Gardens that he's supporting. That's good. I also respect Mr. Jorge, who's here, who has also really put a lot of good attention, like in the last meeting. But I also want to say that I didn't like the pressure from the mayor, Alejandra Cortez. She was disrespectful, not looking at people. Since we are Hispanic and I have evolved to become American, the first reason I came here 35 years ago, I was brought here because there were problems in my country. A lot of people here have problems. They seek to solve those problems here in the US, whatever way that they can. We've become citizens. We've got the vote to be able to go forward. Remember that there have been police officers that have been killed here, when in 1990 we didn't ever have that. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Maria Yani. Just as all of the others, I'm here representing the community because I'm part of the community. I've been living here for more than 30 years in Bell Gardens, and years back that I don't remember ever having a problem like this. Yes, I feel so bad. My kids are grown. They don't live here anymore, but it hurts me to see that the young people who are growing up, going to school, trying to become useful children for the community and for their lives, they are going to be run over by this type of sales. I'm very sad because instead of you guys who are the representatives for this city, instead of trying to help young people, family, so that they can be united, so that they can be part of a community that is productive, instead you want to destroy it. That's very sad to me. It really hurts me to see that this is happening. I agree with the city, the community, that it's not good to bring this type of stores, this type of sales to this city. Look at the park here where the skateboarding is. I go by with my dogs and my husband, and it's sad to see that there are a lot of young people. And what's going to happen with those young people, if you bring these sales here, what's going to happen to those young people? They're not going to be able to be playing in a healthy way like they do. You have to think about the young people, please, and in families, because it's to see a child who's fallen into that illness with drugs is very hard. That's all. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kimberly Caselin. And if you notice that all these people are over here, they're parents, their moms, their dads. And have you seen a young person here? You don't see them a lot. We see like a little bit of people here, little bit of young people, because one, they don't know about the drug. Two, they don't care about it because they haven't experienced it. For me, I experienced it a lot. I've seen many people with drugs already. In my neighborhood, I have 2 people with asthma. And I have a neighbor next to me who smokes weed 12 midnight. And it's hot. So we have to open our windows, but we can't. We can't get a fresh of breathe air. Why? Because we have weed in our neighborhoods already. And if you want to bring stores inside already, it's going to cause way more problems already. I'm already having problems with my neighborhoods, also with family members. I've seen my family like fall apart because of the drugs, especially the marijuana, the weed. Like, come on. It's common sense. And it's very hard to get out of it. Once you're addicted to something, it's hard to get out. You never leave from it. And I'm very tired of it. I'm tired of the smell already. We're already having problems with like the parks, for example. I live in Fort Park for many years. I've been living here for many years. Till recently, like 2 years ago, probably 1 year ago, I see pedophiles already with little kids already. And now this is like an issue, like, come on. This shouldn't be an issue already. This shouldn't be brought up to like the community already. We're a small community. Like, if you're gonna bring that in, many people are gonna be addicted to it. I know for sure, because I am also a teacher as well. I'm a music teacher. I teach kids as well. And I see young, innocent kids. They're so happy. They don't even know like the damages of this disgrace is gonna come. It's very sad. And I know you guys are tired of hearing this already, but we, the people, we're not. We're gonna continue fighting for it. No matter like how hard it is, we're gonna fight for it. Thank you. Hector Cabral.
Buenas tardes, mi
Good
nombre es
evening.
Héctor Cabral.
My name is Héctor Cabral. I've been a citizen of Bell Gardens for many years. You know me. And I have always worked with you guys for a long time with Neighborhood Watch. And now that this is here, I feel so bad about for what you're doing. I would like a change of representatives in our city who think of our youth. Those who will take our world forward in the future. Thank you.
Buenas tardes.
Good evening. My name is Nestor. I'll start with the story of an attorney who wants to be a good attorney. And his mentor asks him, he asks his mentor, how can I be the best attorney? And the mentor looked at him and said, courage. And he said, I already have that. And he said, later you'll understand. He had a case that he won where he was defending a person accused of killing his wife. He proved that he was innocent. After a week, that innocent man killed his wife. And the son went to go complain to him and say, you defended my father knowing he was guilty. So the attorney went to the mentor and said, what's this? And he said, I told you that you would need to have courage. You knew that he was guilty. The courage to live ignoring the truth. I ask you now to have the courage to not live ignoring the truth. Keep listening to the truth and living truth, because truth will free us. I'm not going to judge you guys because for some reason you're here and you have a mission. I'm the father of 7 kids. I'm 40 years old. I was in the music industry. My profession today, I'm a truck driver, but I work a lot with the community and the police in Los Angeles and the district attorneys, the courts. And I've seen a lot of homeless on the streets dying daily, which breaks my heart because I've lost all of my friends because of drugs, overdoses, death or in jail. Marijuana is the entryway to other drugs. I only ask you that you go home tonight with all due respect and that you look in the mirror. You can be the saviors or you can ruin everything. Thank you. God bless you.
Good evening, City Council. I was here last time we were having this discussion and we talked about the DARE program and how we teach our kids how to say no to drugs and how they're bad and all these things that can happen to you and just ruin your lives. And now we're still having this conversation about bringing these shops into our neighborhood. I'm a father of 6 kids and I've spent most of my time working my butt off, long hours, went through a divorce, basically giving everything I had to raise these kids. You listen to the music today that our youth listens to, the corridos, the rap music, glorifying drug dealers and guys that are bringing drugs into the country and all that other stuff. I guarantee you that if you look around the room and all the people that are standing outside, drive up and down the neighborhoods here, you're going to see people that are hardworking people. Not once decided to sell drugs to the community or to their neighborhoods. What we're doing is we're opening the door to do that. I understand that you guys have a job where you have to provide services to a city, and it's not an easy job. I respect you for that. But the simple fact that we're going to sell our souls and our kids down the river so that we can make a little bit extra money instead of finding other means to do it, I think it's a big mistake. I think it's important that we take into consideration the decisions that we're going to make. I asked this the last time of you guys, and I know it's hard, and I'm hoping that we still have enough time to pull this back and to make the changes that we need to make, to prove to the community that you guys are in a position to say, you know what, this came out, this was a mistake, and we have options that are probably going to be a little harder, just like the rest of the hardworking people in this community. There's decisions that we have to make that are a lot harder. The hill is a lot steeper. It's not an easy path selling drugs to whoever. That's easy. But to make a difference in a community, if you look at the other communities where people just don't want to live, look at what they have in their cities, what they have already allowed to come into their cities and what people live there. And they flow up the 710 freeway, they come down the riverbeds, they know where to go. Let's make the right choice, please. I ask this. Prove that you guys are a stand-up group of people and you guys really care for the community. Thank you.
If there's no objection by the members, I will now close public participation. City Manager, will you please give your report?
Mayor Pro Tem, if I could interrupt for just a moment, we do have some that are raising their hands virtually.
I apologize. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Zoom ID Fidelina and Bertin Barbosa, if you would please select the microphone icon to unmute yourself. Persona con el nombre, oh, gracias.
Buenas noches.
You may proceed with your comment.
Buenas noches. Yo soy residente de la ciudad de Bell Gardens desde 1995. Nunca en estos 28 años se ha visto este tipo de... No se ha visto nada de este tipo, que haya un quorum pro por parte de los concejales. Alejandra, Marcos, ustedes saben que están pagándole a Mario Beltrán por todo lo que hizo en su campaña de ustedes. Ustedes en la campaña dijeron que no iban a abrir tiendas o dispensarios. Ustedes estaban acusando a los contrarios de que ellos lo iban a abrir, pero cae más fácil. Ustedes cayeron súper fácil al quererle pagar a él por todos sus servicios y está muy mal. Ojalá que ustedes se pongan, más tú Alejandra, como abogada, sabes que un quo pro es ilegal. No debes de pagarle los favores que te hizo, dándole permiso a Mario Beltrán de que abra tiendas aquí o que abra los dispensarios en la ciudad. Porque esto va a salir a la luz y desafortunadamente ustedes van a ser afectados por todo el buen trabajo que han hecho hasta esta fecha. Barcenas, toda la gente que traías tú diciendo que no iban a haber dispensarios, que era alguien más que lo iba a abrir y mira en lo que has caído. Entonces, ahí es donde van a pagar ustedes los malos actos y van a cubrir todo lo bueno que han hecho hasta el día de hoy. Recuerden que nosotros como residentes y ciudadanos votamos por ponerlos a ustedes ahí para ser los líderes de esta ciudad y para el bienestar de la ciudad, no para ensuciar y dañar a la ciudad. Al rato ustedes se van y nosotros nos quedamos y nos van a dejar esa mala reputación y esas malas tiendas aquí en la tienda. Aquí en la ciudad, perdón. Pónganse a pensar, están jóvenes ustedes dos y eso les puede afectar en su carrera después.
Quedan 15 segundos.
Por estar pagando favores que les hicieron en su campaña cuando estaban corriendo para concejales. Gracias.
Gracias. Person with Zoom ID, Rafael Ballesta, if you would please select the microphone icon.
Listo, muy buenas noches, Consejo Municipal, muchas gracias por estos 3 minutos que me brindan. Mi nombre es Rafael Ballesta, tengo 17 años siendo residente de la ciudad del Gardens, tengo más de 13 años teniendo negocio propio aquí en la ciudad, originario de Uruguay y de Sudamérica, siendo arquitecto de profesión. He visto muchos años aquí en la ciudad del Gardens y he visto en la calle lo que ha pasado en todos estos años. Creo que el cannabis no es malo, no lo consumo. Creo que el alcohol no es malo, no lo consumo. Lo malo es la ignorancia de la conciencia detrás del acto. Creo que el tener dispensarios y el no tenerlos, no vamos a erradicar el problema de drogadicción que hay en Bell Gardens, ni tampoco quitando las licors vamos a erradicar el problema de alcohol que tenemos en Bell Gardens. Pero creo que la conciencia es fundamental. Y el permitir negocios que son negativos para la sociedad, creo que no es una buena apertura. El que utiliza droga la va a seguir consiguiendo donde sea. En las escuelas la consiguen. Muchos securities de las escuelas la brindan. Muchos estudiantes la brindan. No es el problema el consumo de la droga. El problema es qué estamos haciendo. Creo que ustedes, como consejo, tienen un propósito fundamental. Para eso, dedican años y años estar escalando una carrera política. No creo que su meta es quedarse en Bell Gardens. Posiblemente su trayectoria quiera ser seguir en el Consejo del Estado, en el Consejo del Gobierno federal, y un día poder llegar a aspirar a ser presidente de este país. Y creo que lo que ustedes tienen en la mano, tienen la posibilidad de construir un legado personal para ustedes como consejo, de decir, soy un político honesto. Y yo sé que cuando uno está en la política, o está por reconocimiento, o está por dinero, o está por poder. Y es lo que sucede. No tenemos que enfocarnos en lo que podemos construir negativo para nuestra sociedad. Hagamos que Bell Gardens sea una sociedad y una comunidad que vaya creciendo, no que se vaya denigrando. Queremos un grupo de personas como ustedes con ideas positivas, con ideas emprendedoras, que podamos crecer, que podamos tener una mejor sociedad, una sociedad más justa, y que el día de mañana, cuando ustedes tengan que dejar su poder, digan, wow, Becerra, un excelente político, Chávez, excelente muchacho, Francis fue fantástico en la labor que hizo, Stephanie fue maravillosa en la acción que hizo.
10 segundos.
Siguiente carrera política extraordinaria. Y no que se vayan de la ciudad siendo agredidos y siendo eso. Creo que el abrir negocios negativos para la comunidad, por un tema económico, no creo que sea la mejor opción.
Zoom ID Andy Arieta, if you would please select the microphone icon to unmute. Yes, we can hear you. You may proceed with your comment. Andy Arieta, you may proceed with your comment. Andy Arieta, you have unmuted yourself successfully. You can proceed with your comment. Yes, we could hear you. Zoom ID Andy Arieta, you may proceed with your comment. I think that was the last comment. The person is not providing a comment.
If we don't have any other comments and if there's no objection by the members, I will now close public participation. City Manager, will you please give your report?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. First, I just want to start just by stating the obvious here. It's obviously summertime. I want to mention some of the events that the City of Bell Gardens has going on. We have movies and concerts in the park on Thursdays at Veterans Park at 7 p.m. We've got our farmers market along with an art and yard sale on Fridays at Veterans Park between 11 and 3 p.m. Summer camp is going for children, happen daily at Veterans Park. Swimming lessons are ongoing at Chet Holyfield Park. You can look at our calendar if you'd like to get signed up for that. We're offering free transportation. Also want to just mention this Saturday is the Bell Gardens Independence Celebration at Veterans Park. It starts at 6 o'clock. It's got live music, food, games, multimedia, laser light show. So a lot going on during summertime. I also, Mayor Pro Tem, just wanted to state, we have obviously a lot of members of the public here and online as well. So I want to just dispel a few things and just state a few facts as part of City Manager's report. Not to sway anybody, but just to state facts as far as this cannabis ordinance goes. So if you look closely at the ordinance, it would only allow commercial cannabis in commercial and industrial zones. It's not allowed in residential zones. It's not allowed within 600 feet of schools, daycares, youth centers, and parks.
Please refrain from making comments in the chambers or you will be removed. Please stop.
So it's also not allowed within 600 feet of schools, daycares, youth centers, and parks. Not allowed within the commercial area of Eastern and Florence. You can't have more than one cannabis retail location, if there are any, within 500 feet of each other to avoid clustering. The ordinance does not allow a maximum or a minimum number of retail cannabis locations. So this would all be subject to the conditional use permit process that the city has in place. So there's additional opportunity for the Planning Commission and for the council and for additional public comment for specific potential retail sites. Also just want to state, just again, these are facts, so it's not to change anybody's mind.
Once again, please refrain from yelling or clapping or we will have to remove you from the chambers. Once again, I'm going to remind you. Les estoy recordando, por favor, no griten, no aplauden, no hagan nada ahorita. Está dando un reporte. Si no, le tenemos que decir que se vayan afuera de esta junta.
Again, if you allow me to just.
Allowed for public comment already. Ya dimos la oportunidad para el público que habla. Está hablando el city manager. Por favor, tenga respeto.
Members of the public, this is just we're reminding you that we are trying to discuss here the action. You were all given time to give public comment. If you continue to interrupt the comments or the city manager's discussion, the public comment is this time is now over. If you continue to interrupt, we will have to remove you. The public comment time has already ended at this time.
In order to comply with the rules of decorum, please refrain from any disruptive activity that will interfere the city council to continue the meeting. This is everybody's warning. Disruptive behavior to pursue SB 1100, a failure to stop the behavior may result in being removed from the city council chambers by the sergeant at arms. Disruption means engaging in behavior during a meeting of legislative body that actually disrupts, disturbs, impedes, or renders infeasible the orderly conduct of this meeting, including but not limited to speaking outside the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. True threat of force means a threat that has sufficient indication of incident seriousness that reasonable observers would perceive it to be an actual threat to use force by the person making the threat, engaging in behavior that constitutes the use of force or a true threat of force. I am warning everybody at this time, and next time it will be warnings to individuals, and we will be removing you from the chambers. Please continue, city manager.
Thank you. I just appreciate your patience. I'm almost done here. I just want to make sure the facts are stated here. So a cannabis retailer, they have to have a state cannabis license with Department of Justice approvals. The ordinance would require licensed security, lighting, odor absorbing ventilation equipment, no on-site consumption, regular compliance reviews from state agencies, city code enforcement, police department, fire department inspections. And just the last thing I stated, customers would be required to be 21 years or older to prevent any purchases from the youth. With that, I just thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, City Manager. We will now move to consent calendar. Does any member of the council successor agency wish to pull an item for separate discussion? If there are no further questions, I will now call for a motion to approve items number 2 through 18 of the consent calendar. May I have a motion?
Move to approve consent calendar.
May I have a second? I second. We have a motion by Barsina, second by myself. City Clerk, please conduct a roll call.
Yes, thank you. Members of the council and successor agency, Barsina,
Yes.
Chavez,
From 2 to 18, I say yes, with the exception of number 18, so no on the
So
ordinance.
from
Yeah.
2 to 17, you mean?
2 to, yes, 2 to 17. Thought it was 2 to 18.
Okay, thank you.
The one that says second reading of adoption of ordinance number 934 zoning code amendment, 2023-040. That's the cannabis one, correct?
Yes, as to 1 through 17, no for number 18.
The motion was to approve all the consent calendar, correct?
Right, so you're saying yes to all of them with the exception of 18?
With the cannabis one.
City Clerk, does that clarify for the record?
Yes. And Councilwoman Pulido is absent, Mayor Pro Tem Vice Chair Sanchez,
Yes.
and Mayor Chair Cortez.
Yes.
Thank you.
We are now going to take a 10-minute recess. We will now resume the meeting. City Manager, will you please announce discussion item 19?
Yes, thanks again, Mayor Pro Tem. The next item is a presentation and request for adoption of the fiscal year 2023-24 operating and capital improvement budgets, compensation plan, and also establishing the state required appropriations limit. Our Finance and Administrative Services Director, Manuel Carrillo, will provide a presentation. This presentation is similar to the one that was provided as part of the study session at the last meeting, with just minimal adjustments based on some of the items that were approved during this council meeting, including the part-time increases. So with that, I will turn it over to Manuel Carrillo. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. As we had indicated, this is basically a continuation of our previous item 2 weeks ago where we presented the proposed budget for 23-24. This is, of course, for adoption, and then, of course, establishing the GAN limit for 23-24 as well, as indicated. As we can see here, for fiscal year 22-23, we are identifying a projected surplus of 1.5 million at the end of the fiscal year. We are identifying a 23-24 proposed surplus of 734,887. As you recall, this figure is slightly different from the original figure, as we are now factoring in the proposed salary increases that were identified in the previous meeting. And of course, for 23-24, the budget incorporates the recently approved 3-year labor agreements with most of the labor groups throughout the city. And the water fund continues to run at a deficit while a treatment system is implemented. So here we have our initial adopted 22-23 budget with revenues of 38,801,000 and expenditures of 38,663,000, resulting in initially adopted surplus of 168,000. Throughout the course, and as a result of the forecasted increases in revenue and expenditures, we identified a mid-year surplus of 1.9. And at the end of 22-23, we are identifying a year-end surplus of about 1.5 million. On this slide, we have our projected general fund balance as of 6/30/23. On June 30th, 2022, the general fund balance was identified at 30,334,000, with the projected surplus of 1.5 that we're identifying for 22-23. We project the end of year general fund surplus at June 30th, 23 to be 31,894,000. For fiscal year 22-24, we are projecting general fund revenues to come in at 42,439,000, with general fund expenditures at 41,704,000, resulting in a projected general fund surplus of 734,000. Here we have a pie chart that provides a percentage breakdown of the city revenues by source. And here we have a breakdown of some of the primary revenue categories, which is the same information as a previous pie chart. And of course, the more noticeable items are the Bicycle Club Casino, property leases, sales and use tax, Measure A add-on sales tax, as well as interest income. The following graph provides a historical look at the casino revenue going back to fiscal year 2011. It shows the sharp drop experienced during the height of the COVID pandemic and the strong recovery that has been made since. For 23-24, we are projecting an all-time high of 17,952,000 based on the strong performance figures that have been reached in the current fiscal year. Here we have a breakdown of the general fund expenditures by category for 23-24. We are seeing increases overall. Personnel services and contractual services make up approximately 89% of the overall general fund expenditure budget. Here we have a breakdown of personnel expenses by category. As we can see, the projected increases in salaries due to the recently agreed MOUs between the various labor groups throughout the city and the subsequent increases to CalPERS expenditures. This slide provides a historical overview of the funded full-time positions in recent history. This slide provides an overview of the proposed salary adjustments in 23-24, which are now factored into the surplus figure that we discussed previously. This slide provides an overview of the contractual services portion of the general fund expenditures for fiscal year 23-24. It is approximately 10 million, or about 24% of the general fund expenditures. Some of the more significant expenses in this category include psychological services related to PD, CCW background check expenses, as well as vehicle maintenance costs and fuel. Other noticeable areas include public works related expenditures such as industrial waste permits, engineering services. Others include tree and landscaping services, facility maintenance and repairs and equipment rentals. This slide provides an overview of the department supplies category for the general fund expenditures. This accounts for approximately 1 million or 2% of the general fund expenditures. Department supplies increase and decrease amongst the various departments. In this year, copier leases and range supplies appear to be a significant portion of the increase for the upcoming year. This slide provides an overview of the capital outlays category of the general fund expenditures. This accounts for approximately 1.3 million or about 3% of the general fund. This includes public works, administrative vehicles, PD facility improvements, IT hardware and software infrastructure improvements, as well as other field patrol service vehicle investments. The overall capital gains outlays increases are offset by reductions from other departments as well. This slide provides an overview of the transfers to other funds. And this category primarily is as a result of transfers out as a result of the Ford Park and golf course operation subsidies, as well as increases to the retiree health costs for the year. Here we have a total debt service category. This shows the city's total debt as of June 30th, 22. Please note this date reflects June 30th, 22 as it relates to the reviewed and confirmed items by our external auditors as a part of our annual audit financial statements. So this is the snapshot of what it is at that time. The pie chart presents the breakdown of the department's general fund expenditures by, or I should say, general fund expenditures by department. And this next figure is the same information, just provides a detailed breakdown as well as the percentage breakdown as well. The next two slides provide us with an overview of the identified capital improvement projects for fiscal year 23-24, which total projected to be 750,000. And amongst that are the carryover or ongoing projects from previous years as well. Here we have a breakdown of the all city funds balances for all 35 of the city's funds for 23-24, which comes to 60,632,987 for the year. And here we have the water utility fund, which is expected to lose 1.1 million in 23-24. By the end of 23-24, the water utility fund is projected to owe the general fund an estimated 8.2 million.
Manuel, if we can just stop here, I just want to point out for the council, this is probably the biggest financial issue that we have going on currently is the water fund deficit. The water that the city produces has PFAS, PFAS contaminants in it, as does all the water for the most part in the region. The city council made the decision to stop supplying that water to the residents and purchase more expensive water, more expensive surface water that does not contain any measurable amounts of PFAS and PFAS, but it's at a significant cost of about $1 million per year. Several months ago, the council approved a $6 million project to clean the water in the city's water well so that water can be produced in the future in a clean manner. And also in a way that does not significantly keep these deficits going. The city staff is looking at funding sources currently to pay for the $6.5 million for that water fund. But in the meantime, the budget includes this continued deficit to provide the surface water without the contaminants. Thanks, Manuel.
Thank you, City Manager. And finally, to summarize, for fiscal year 2023, we are projecting a year-end surplus of 1.5. The fiscal year 23-24 budget is projected to have a surplus of 734,000. The 23-24 budget includes the recently approved MOU agreements with the city labor groups, which is set to go through the year 25-26. And as previously stated, the water fund continues to run at a deficit while the treatment system is being implemented. Finally, to conclude, I would just like to thank our city accounting and our payroll staff for their efforts in helping to put this information together. It's quite a daunting task in just trying to formulate everything and give us enough time to be able to put everything together. Do appreciate their efforts, and this does conclude our presentation. And if there are any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer anything that council might need.
Does any member of the council have any questions or comments? I'm hearing none, but I do. So regarding the budget for staff, I did notice that we had a very high turnover for many full-time positions. So thank you for making the salary adjustments. Hopefully that will help us retain our staff longevity wise. And then also regarding the water utility, I know that we're always at a deficit. Can we please look into what are the pros and cons of possibly selling the water? Because we are paying up in millions to get certain clean water for our residents, and we want clean water for our residents. So if we're constantly at a deficit, what are the pros and cons of continuing to pay for that? Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Emmanuel. Appreciate it. I do want to touch on a couple of things, and it brings me to the water. So I remember when we were talking about, moving forward about the water rates and whether or not we were going to increase them, or we were just going to leave them the way they were. One of the reasons why we chose, or the reason why that was an option on the table, but I think the majority of the council chose not to go with it, was because if we were to sell the water system, the private companies can raise the rates at whatever amount they wanted, right? So, because they're privatized, right? Essentially, we have we cannot do that per se, right? Or we choose not to do that compared to private companies. So I remember that back when we were talking about the water rates. In regards to the budget, and I don't know if this has been the discussion in the past, but from what I've noticed recently, other city councils, small cities like ours, have been taking initiatives and creating discretionary funds for council members to use on nonprofits, supporting local organizations, right? Whether it's teams at the school, middle school, you name it. I don't know if perhaps, obviously maybe it is too late for this year, but for the next year, if we can look into having discretionary funds for us to use to support local organizations or nonprofits that are seeking assistance from us. That's a common thing I get. I would say maybe once a month, a call saying that they want the city of Bell Gardens to sort of help out or chime in some way. But I think it'd be interesting in seeing potential options about discretionary funds. I think a city like Cudahy just might have done it in the past. But yeah, I'd be interested in seeing that. Other than that, that'd be all my comments. Thank you so much.
Any other comments or questions? I'm hearing none. May I have a motion?
I move to approve.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion by Barsina and a second by Cortez. City Clerk, please conduct a roll call.
Thank you. Members of the council and successor agency, Barsina?
Yes.
Councilmember Chavez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Pulido absent. Mayor Pro Tem Vice Chair Sanchez?
Yes.
And Mayor Chair Cortez?
Yes. I'll now move to council member comments, starting off with Councilmember Barsina.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Residentes de Bell Gardens, solamente quiero agradecerles por estar aquí y
This is not something, I grew up here. This is not easy for me to feel like I'm going against the current. I assure you that I would like to please everyone. And sometimes that's a problem that politicians have, that they want to please everyone. But in reality, I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart and from everything I've lived through as an immigrant, as a son of disabled people, as a person who went all the way to UC Berkeley and came back to Bell Gardens, and I've been working here all my life, I want to tell you honestly that my decision in the vote that was taken today is 100% because I believe this is the best decision for the Bell Gardens community. And I'm going to tell you something. Orden, por favor. Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. I am here to make tough decisions, not easy decisions. Every time you interrupt me, I'm going to stop speaking. When my dad died about a year ago, they were giving him morphine. When he would go to the bathroom, it would come out like a ball because that affects your whole system in a very painful way. In his last days, we decided to give him cannabis oil to relieve his pain a little bit. I know that here a lot of people, for religious reasons or their personal beliefs, are 100% against anything having to do with marijuana, and I respect that. But from what I have seen, everything is not black or white. We have to have the ability and the interest to look to see how we are going to improve the community. And it's for that reason that I voted the way I voted. And I don't have to say anything in my comments about this, but I want to. I want you to know that in the time that I've been here on the council, I am here to work for you. Respect, please. As I said, the words I'm saying to you are not words that I'm forced to speak. They're words that I want to share with you. So from here on out, I invite you to keep coming to the council meetings. There are a lot of people here who I see, who I know, and there are many more that we've never had a conversation. You've never asked me about any subject related to the city. I believe that it's a privilege for me to be able to talk with you, share my opinions with you, and help you. But that time will not last forever. That time will end for me, and you will have someone else here. So at this time, I invite you to come to the meetings, call me on the phone, whatever you need. I am here to work for the community. That's the only thing that I want to leave with you, because many of you, I've never seen you, I haven't talked with you, but what you're doing today is important, that you're here. I'm glad you stayed to watch the budget presentation. The budget is more important than the marijuana. Why? Because the budget is how the city invests all the money in the services that you all receive. That is the most important thing. So we're going to continue, we're going to educate ourselves, and we're going to make decisions that truly improve the community. That's all. Thank you.
Damn, this is hard. Esto es difícil, ¿verdad? And I feel like I said that because I just have to like speak from my heart and how I feel right now. I'm gonna say it in English and I like how my time just started right there. It hasn't started though. But I will say, I'll say it in English. No, now it has started. Thank you for everybody that came out. Thank you for coming to speak to us today. It was a long meeting, and I want to say a couple of things. I think I prefer to say it in Spanish. Prefiero decirlo en español. Voy a decir que mi español no es perfecto. So, voy a apuntar.
Thank you all for coming. This was a long meeting. I want to say a couple of things. I want to say that this council here, our council, we work for you. I want to assure you that we don't want children or young people to have cannabis. No one here voted yes because they want that. The council, my colleagues do not want young people to have cannabis. I want to tell you that regarding the cannabis issue and the consumption, it's like a taboo. It's difficult for our community to talk about this subject. And it's sort of like, in my opinion, sex, especially in our culture. For example, in our traditions, in our cultures, we see sex as a taboo subject, that something that we should not talk about ever. And we hear stories, and many residents who have come are Latinos, and it is hard for most of us to have that conversation with our kids. When it's time to talk to our kids about that subject in our community, it's hard to have that conversation with your kids. And a lot of times it's left to the school to do it. When we talk about sex education, many of our parents decide not to do it. But we should be having this conversation with our kids, talk about these subjects, about having safe sex. Many in our community had children when they were young. Yes or no? There are many who've had kids at 16, or maybe know someone who did. Maybe one of your children, one of your own children, or your grandchildren, or your neighbor. And I ask myself, why is this? Why do our young people in our culture become sexually active when they're young? This is similar to the way I see the subject of cannabis. Parents who are here spoke about their kids. I'm not saying that your comments are not true regarding your kids and regarding drugs, but it's for a variety of factors. We are a strong community. We are a hardworking community. We work 2 and 3 jobs to survive in this country, to pay rent, to pay bills. We want the best for our children. And I believe firmly that we want the best for our children. Regarding cannabis, I think kids in school make decisions, make uninformed decisions. They do cannabis from peer pressure. They don't believe the truth about the health effects, or they do it out of curiosity. I said last time at this meeting that our Bell Gardens community has 12 liquor stores. We have access to beer, right? And we talk about cannabis like it's the worst of the worst, but you can get beer on any corner here in the city. We have 12. Who's ready to have that conversation? Let me. How many families have been destroyed by alcohol? No, let me speak. What I'm saying is we're talking about cannabis, right? But no one wants to talk about alcohol. I am only giving my point of view. Let me finish. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. We're talking about cannabis. We're talking about alcohol. We're talking about the obesity of our kids. Remember when we started this meeting, Mr. Barsana talked about how many obese young people we have here. We need to talk about health. We need to talk about the environmental quality. We live in a food desert. Let's take a look at the air pollution we have in our city. We breathe the worst air in California, or maybe even in the whole country. Let me finish. And we just talked about water. We don't have access here to clean water, healthy water. We have to buy it. There's so many things that are going against young people here in the city. What I know is that our kids have many chances to fall into things. But I would like to thank you again for being here. I want you to keep coming. I want you to keep participating. This doesn't end here. I've already told you, I've just mentioned a bunch of things we need your help with. We need your support. Reminder, you had your chance to speak. The council members are speaking. Please give them the chance to speak. So I'm just saying, I thank you for coming. I hope to see you next Monday and from here on out. Thank you.